Big thanks for joining me once again on the program Law and You. And we always take our time to look at topical issues that concerns you and bringing the law to you at your doorstep and make sure that you know what it is. The laws of the land, and of course how it applies to all concepts. Today we're gonna be treating social media and the law, and basically it's a topic that concerns virtually every Nigerian that has got a smartphone. And what is the freedom of speech as it applies to whatever you drop on the social media platform? How do you use this platform? How can we draw the line, between free speech and legal responsibility, the limitations, and basically what could be seen as defamation as regards the usage of the social media. My name is Philip Omo. Just to let you know that this program is brought to you courtesy of Noah Attorneys, a firm of legal practitioners based in Benin City, Nigeria. And discussing this vital topic with me is the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum, Benin branch, Osamede Ogbomo. Big thanks for joining, Osamede.
It's nice to be here.
All right, so let's get to look at these issues surrounding the social media. Basically, every Nigerian that's got a smartphone will have to do the nitty-gritty as regards, dropping content on the social media. And before we delve deep into the contents and, of course, what could be termed as defamation, let's get to look at the laws that establish social media.
Okay, social media, it's a very powerful tool in the 21st century. As we all know, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have WhatsApp. So there's need for compliance and control over this phenomenon. So I think the basic ones we have right now is we have the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015. We have the Nigerian Data Protection Act. We also have the Criminal Code, which obviously controls every aspect of life as citizens. We have so many laws. We have the Terrorism Act also that controls use of speech to incite or to create chaos through social media. So there are a lot of laws that controls. For example, now we have Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act, which talks about cyber stalking and sending malicious messages or publishing damaging content online. Criminal Code also criminalize some aspect of form of publications that can cause harm to someone's reputation. So there are so many laws. The issue of social media intersects different plethora of laws in Nigeria. So we can keep on saying so many, and we will not still get.
Okay. Let's look at what point can it be termed defamatory, or can it be termed wrong usage in terms of the user of social media, dropping content. At what point can we draw the line to say, okay, this is what you can do to the platforms, this is what you can't do? So can we draw the line?
Okay, firstly, I think there's a need to understand the word defamation legally. To the layman, defamation is a statement, a false statement that represents facts that damages someone's reputation. It could be an individual, it could be a company. But the key is that it harms someone's reputation and is published to one or more persons. That is defamation. And then we have two types of defamation. We have libel, we have slander. Libel is written, slander is word spoken. So defamation is a very key aspect in social media. Social media, people are influenced by what they see on social media. People are on Instagram, they're on Twitter. Most of the time we have unverified information flowing through the internet, through the social media, which is a cause for concern. But there have always been publicity on how to censor all this content going around. If you have issues they are raising on social media, you have evidence to back them up. Defense to defamation is truthfulness. If what you say damages someone's reputation, but it's true, it's not defamatory. I never understand. Opinions cannot be said to be defamatory, but it's your wordings. Someone can say, this man is a thief. I can say, I believe with the circumstances that we have seen, this man could be a thief. Those are two different things. You understand? So fair comments are not defamatory if they're not malicious. As far as the aim is not to injure somebody, but it's your opinion about the person.
When you say fair comments are not defamatory,
Yes,
as long as they are not malicious.
They're not malicious.
We've seen content, we've seen posts being shared, and it now boomerangs or get to a point or degenerate to litigations.
Yes.
So even if they could be true, but the one who is indicted wouldn't lie low, but would rather want to, litigate. So at what point can we say that this can actually be true, these facts are true, for such a person to post on the platform?
No, that is where evidence comes in. When you post something about a phenomenon, okay, for example, now you say this government official is corrupt.
Okay.
It's assumed that when you post such information, you also have evidence to support it.
And you also post the evidence, is that what you mean?
Of course, you post the evidence. You put verifiable links or verifiable information to show that this person is not innocent. But
a lot of persons have been arrested in that.
But the person can still take you to court. So then it's for you to now prove to the court that it's true.
Okay.
By bringing your evidence. So you see the same process. Anybody can come and take anybody to court. A bad person can take an innocent person to court. It happens. But it's for you now for you to prove your innocence or prove that the fact that this person is what it is. So that's another thing. Okay. So we also have an aspect, privileged comments. Statements that are made in the course of judicial, executive, and legislative proceedings cannot be litigated upon as a defamatory statement. You understand?
Yeah.
So those are the exceptional cases that where statements are not defamatory, even if they may harm somebody. But there's always a thin line. There's always a thin line between defamatory and section 39 of the Constitution, which has to do with freedom of speech. We have seen situations where the laws have been too general or too wide to now allow elites or public figures to use them to their advantage to stifle the freedom of expression.
Okay.
So it has been a major cause of concern.
Okay.
In Nigeria, we have criminal defamation, we have civil defamation, in which, in criminal, I think under the criminal code, section 3375, it gives 2 years imprisonment for defamation. 2 years.
Okay, for civil defamation.
No, for criminal. We have criminal defamation.
Criminal.
There have been many NGOs have tried to tell the lawmakers to remove it from our jurisdiction.
Okay, can you kind of elucidate or make an expository examples to show which one is civil and which one is criminal?
Defamation is defamation.
Okay.
But someone can bring an action under criminal and under civil. Under criminal, under section 375 of the criminal code, it gives a penalty of 2 years imprisonment. You understand? 2 years imprisonment for defamation. If you can prove that the person defamed your character. You can also bring it under the civil court and get damages. But there have been clamor for the removal of criminal defamation, that it has been used as a tool to reduce the constitutional right of freedom of expression and freedom of speech.
Okay, we've seen cases where some allegations may be posted on the social media space, and then people retweet this or repost
without verifying.
Without verifying and share. Can they be held liable by the law?
Of course. Anybody that posts, that's why the element of defamation is false statements. You publicize it and it's not true, and it damages someone's character, and it's presenting facts. Like when you make statements saying this is what it is, and it damages one's character, and you publicize it to more than one person. Anybody that posts something that is defamatory, each and everybody that posts that thing will go in for it. That's how it works. Under the Cybercrime Prohibition Act 2015, it even gives a higher penalty, gives 3 years, and a fine of 7 million. So it's so there are a lot of backlash.
Okay, we have situations where some wouldn't want their private information to be leaked on the platform, and I believe that every citizen has a right,
of course,
to
private
privacy.
Living. Yes, to privacy.
Yes. But to what extent can we say such privacy can be enjoyed, most especially if such a citizen, enjoys a public office. So to what extent, when we talk about having private information not being leaked online, does it apply to, government functionaries and celebrities, for instance?
Everybody has the right to privacy, whether you're a government official, as far as it doesn't concern your official duties.
Exactly.
You cannot say because
if it concerns your official duties, you can't be private.
Yes, but you can't say because I'm a government worker, then posts about maybe what I do in my home should be publicized without my consent. That is cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is when you post personal information about persons,
personal information,
without their consent.
Not as regards the public office they hold.
Not as regards the public office.
Otherwise, you can post that as regards the public office.
Yes.
In order to,
as far as there's evidence to
track accountability and transparency.
Yes, of course. But for you to not post personal, I see people, they post their intimate pictures of maybe their previous partner because of revenge.
Yeah.
Those are cyber stalking, and they're going for it. It still falls under Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act 2015. Cyber stalking and online information when you post things through the digital communication system. So all these have been used over the years. Even there's a recent COVID-19 period. In Nigeria Nigerian journalist was jailed when he falsely posted that a COVID-19 patient escaped isolation. He was jailed. He went in for it.
Or can users of the social media face legal actions for expressing political opinions, for instance, on the social media space?
That is a very, very controversial issue because we see where persons that express their political opinions have been jailed.
Exactly.
But I think the key element is your way of expression. As a lawyer, I'll speak as a lawyer. The way you express yourself politically, it determines if it's not defamatory.
Yeah.
You get. So we see people that express their political opinions and at the same time inciting violence. Maybe you're talking against a particular government, and then in the course of talking against a particular government, you're saying your set of people should fight against the government, and not even maybe in a peaceful way, but in a violent way. Then it's a cause for concern.
Okay.
It's a cause for concern, and the police or the various law enforcement agencies will have to get you down to ensure that you don't spark a revolt against the present government. So sometimes the way we express, if you give your opinion on the government, we have seen people give opinion about the government, they don't get jailed. You give your sincere opinion about the government, and if you have verifiable evidence to talk about your views, fine and good. I've seen where persons have been jailed because of political opinions in Nigeria and in Africa. And I've seen lawyers fight for them for their fundamental rights. I've seen them being fought. I've seen situations where activists are being arrested for speaking their mind.
Okay.
And we see law clinics, we see NGO fight for them.
Okay, let's just, in case you're just watching, it's Law and You, and I've been speaking on social media and the law, and I have the custodian of the law with me, and the person of Osamwede Ogbomo, who is the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum, Benin branch. And we're looking at you made mention of cyber stalking. For the purpose of the viewers, what is cyber stalking?
Okay, cyber stalking is when you publish personal information about people or persons, and it also covers when you send disturbing messages to persons, when you keep on disturbing them, sending them messages or threatening them. It all falls into cyber stalking. Okay,
let's look at the aspect of receiving legal notices and of course court summons via social media. Is it right? And if it happens, if it's right, how should one receive it or handle it?
Okay, in many jurisdictions in Nigeria, we have now got to the stage where you can receive processes online. It's not acceptable electronically. It's not very much acceptable. You can serve processes online. Okay, and then those that it has been received online, it's the court accepted now.
Okay,
understand? So, so when you receive such notice online, obviously you should brief a lawyer and know what to do or what next to do.
Okay, let's look at how a content creator can, protect his work online.
Simple: copyright, intellectual properties, patents. When you release videos or you have a video that is very popular or is music that you feel or will become very popular, then you should copyright it, or you should meet a lawyer or meet an expert who will advise you on how to protect it. You do copyright for books, you do patent for innovations. There are a lot of ways to protect your virtual goods. So many ways you can do that. So it's very popular. Most musicians now, they do it. Innovators, they protect their rights. Patent, copyright, they're all intellectual properties. So intellectual properties can be protected. And so that is just, I think that is basically all for that.
Okay, let's see how the government, controls this or regulates social media usage in Nigeria.
Okay.
Do you see lapses, or do you see room for improvement, and of course interventions that could lead to amendments in the laws or acts?
And I think the notable one is how vague and how general the word is in the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015 is.
Okay.
Under Section 24, it talks about annoyance. It talks about annoyance in general. So the words are not too specific. Talk about when a form of communication is annoying or is against public interest. Do you not ask what pertains to public interest? What is the limit? What is the line? So those are issues. So most times, if the government want to witch hunt, or if they want to witch hunt somebody, they'll take the section to their advantage. There's no specifics, there's no limits, there's no guideline on how fast one can go in expressing himself, or how low he can go in expressing himself. So it's an issue.
Okay.
Where we see activists, we see people talking, saying their mind, they get arrested, they get persecuted. So there's a need for amendment for specific provisions on expression of speech, or expression of or the freedom of expression, on how far you can go on it. Because what we have now is very general. It's too vague.
It's too vague.
It's too vague, which has led to a lot of floodgate of litigation against innocent persons who are just expressing themselves online. So that is the issue, and then government uses their advantage. So anybody that talks against them, they just take them to court.
Okay.
So that is the issue we have now.
How do you also assess or perceive the use of social media by politicians, for instance, in promoting their campaigns and for electioneering, for instance? I understand that there are laws also that also guide that, or they are not.
And generally, we have transmission of result now through the amendment in this new electoral act.
Yeah.
So it allows for you to transmit results electronically, which is a new innovation to promote transparency. We also see situations where individuals in election polling units, they immediately post the results. As people are voting, they are posting it to ensure transparency. So social media in a way has created a lot of awareness. It has created a lot of transparency in the smooth observation of electioneering. Because we see situations where I can be at home now. I'll know how many votes is being collected right now.
Exactly.
So it has been a great help.
Exactly. But where the problem is, most especially when it comes to announcement of election results, for instance, we are always being told that don't rely on that which is being peddled at the social media platforms, but rely on the electoral umpire.
Of course.
So at what point can we say that of the social media platforms are not correct?
No, of course.
And at what point can we also say that even that being peddled by the electoral umpire is correct? Because we have to juxtapose, for instance. We've seen situations where figures are even being churned out, and that becomes like a big challenge for the electoral umpire, because to some extent facts are being expressed, and figures that seem so real are being expressed on the social media platforms that could serve as a big challenge for the electoral umpire. So do you see this as a setback, in terms of promoting electioneering values, and of course making sure that the people, the electorate, are carried along to make sure that their votes are not marginalized?
Well, firstly, if there are issues about results, it goes to the tribunal. I'm not the tribunal.
Okay.
But then, if I take a video of a polling unit where voting are conducted live, I don't need any evidence to tell me that anything that they say there is true.
Exactly.
If you are doing a live video about how election is being conducted in a particular unit, we are hearing the numbers being called, live video through the social media. I don't need any evidence to show that whatever they say there is true. You understand?
Okay.
Even if, yes, it doesn't tally with now the result that was supposedly to be released by the INEC.
Yeah, by the electoral umpire. Because sometimes we see conflicting results.
But we all see that this was a live rendition of what happened. You understand? So that's
and whatever is being posted is admissible in court.
Yes, of whatever is posted by the INEC.
Or by the INEC, not by the social media platforms.
Social media. No, not social media. Social media is just a platform where people can express themselves.
Okay.
So, and then we also see situations
because you spoke about facts that if the posts are true, if they are factual, then it can be admissible.
Yes, no, but it's not as easy as that. You have to prove a lot of things.
Okay, when it comes to election results, for instance,
in terms of tribunal,
you streamline it only to that from the electoral.
Yes, and if you have evidence to show that there have been discrepancy, you have to prove it in court. So that one is a whole ball game entirely. What I'm just saying is, you cannot come to social media and post a paper and say this is the actual result. Why is it the actual result? Anybody can print out, anybody can manufacture a polling unit paper and start writing anything on it.
But we've seen situations where there's comparison with what actually happened on the ground in election days. Even on platforms they are being posted.
Of course.
As juxtaposing it with the results of the electoral umpire.
Yeah.
So if we have a kind of lacuna as a result of that, can't that which is seen as virtually correct, or at the point where elections are being done, are being posted by social media platforms, can they be admissible? Can't we also use this as evidence to challenge whatever result that comes from the electoral umpire?
It's being used, but one thing about the election in Nigeria, election is not just done, especially in the presidential election, it's not just done in one state. We have state level, we have it goes down to even the polling unit in your local government.
Okay.
You have so many elections done simultaneously.
Okay.
You have to prove that at least a large aspect of that election was conducted and not conducted in a fair or in a transparent manner.
All right.
So you bring in a video, one or two videos, saying, what about the rest?
They are not enough.
You understand?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And then most of the time, how do you get those persons that did those videos? You have to get the maker of those videos. And the maker of those videos have to be somebody that will show that they were there, they did the video, and they were in the position to do that video. Okay. So there are a lot of things you have to really put into consideration in terms of electioneering in Nigeria. It's I say a long way to go, but hopefully one day we'll.
Big thanks for taking our time to be part of this conversation, and there's a much we can take on today's episode of Law and You. We'll do this same time next week. I am Philip Omo Gukbo. Bye for now.